Hey, this is Notser, and this is the Tier 10 Japanese cruiser Zhao, but more importantly, this is the first game that I ever played, the brand new game mode, Epicenter. Now, just a huge overview of the ship I'm going in. It's got great concealment, great range, great HE damage. Its torpedo systems are a little awkward to use at times, but they're pretty serviceable. Okay, let's get back to the Epicenter talk. Okay, Epicenter. What is Epicenter other than a giant circle on my screen? Glad you asked. It is an evolution of a King of the Hill style game mode. Now you might see that there are 3 rings. One ring shall rule them all, and that is the center ring. You must keep that in mind. If you maintain power over the center, you will benefit regardless of the outer two. At least that's how it is interpreted by Wargaming, how they introduced it. Now, is that actually what happens? We'll see in this game. Now, there's an enemy Benson. He's headed over, and my intent, just engage him, right? Give him a good lead, give him some HE damage. The Zhao, for anyone who doesn't know, is a remarkable ship, and we almost pulled a Notser. We get a really close, zoomed-in picture of this mesa, this cliff face, or whatever. It's actually, look, someone lived there. Man-made objects. But anyway, you see how there's sort of there's a clock of sorts. It's being interrupted, obviously, by the Benson. He is inside that capture point, so neither team can gain control over it. However, we have started the capture before the enemy, so we have an advantage. If we kill the Benson or we take him out, then we will continue to capture it. If we capture it, then the enemy team has to try and work their way towards it. That sort of sounds like King of the Hill, right? The only difference is that it's a much tighter circle than the previous incarnation. The previous one would probably have taken up this entire area, and nothing would be done until everyone is dead, right? You could theoretically have a draw come from the previous incarnation. Obviously, it's a little bit harder to have a draw now that you actually gain points from maintaining capture over any of these capture points. However, it feels like, at least what I have seen, it's basically just fight for the center. The outer rings don't really impact the match. They're almost always being interrupted. It's a little weird. Now, I don't really know what to do or what not to do. I was a little distracted because this is the last game of my stream for that particular day. Part of the reason why I'm sharing it is this is the first time I've ever played it. I just don't know what to do. I would like to support my team as they try and take the center of the base, but obviously there's a risk of taking damage, and I'm going to engage this enemy turrets, and we fire at him. He's got HE loaded, and it does 6,500, you know, standard. Easy, right? The only thing that would be better is if we had some form of fire set on the ship. Some form of fire set on the ship. There we go. 3,900. We also set a fire. And let's do a quick check in the top right. He has aggressively put it out. So we know that the enemy is going to be vulnerable in about 10 to 15 seconds to HE. There is still an enemy Benson that is in and around the center, along with, obviously, the battleship. The battleship he's not going nowhere. But being a Japanese cruiser, you should make it your entire life goal to take out those enemy destroyers as quickly as you can, and 5,600 points of damage, knocking out, you know, propulsion, torpedo systems. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not bad. It's not bad. And he's trying to retreat. He's got an island to deal with, though. He just can't move directly away from me. And I lead him just a touch too much. Could have been the kill shot. We missed, though. And friendly Montana is backing up. I don't want to get in his way, of course. Trying to avoid him as best as I can. It's actually very helpful that he is in that exact location. I fire again on the Benson, hoping to kill him. It's nice that The Montana was there to absorb the attention, and when they transitioned to my ship, they couldn't hit me. So now I can just drop off detection. There is another enemy destroyer. The enemy battleship is dead. I mean, oh, shocker there, right? Yeah, it's not shocking at all. It's very much obvious that the battleship was going to die. The center is really only reserved for targets that can hide themselves, and the target is dead. There is no longer an enemy ship interrupting the cap, and in fact, there's no longer a possibility for the enemy to interrupt the cap without being visible on the map. They just don't have enemy destroyers. Now, a Zhao is probably the closest high tier to a destroyer if you don't have one, but I'm pretty close to the forward position, and you can just see the minimap ticking up, ticking up, ticking up. The enemy team, anyone who was in the outer rings was interrupted. They did have an advantage. I don't know if it's inherently a quicker spawn. They can get there faster, or if it's just, they knew what they were doing. I've never been on this map. I just don't know what to do. Well, I've been on the map, but I've never been on this game mode. So we captured the center ring. And as you can see, it's ticking up. The tick up is within reason, right? It's about 3 points every second. No big deal. The enemy team has to do something to change the fortune. Otherwise, they're going to lose the game just on cap. Now, the capture rate is not, it's not fast enough that I would say all hope is lost. If you play it correctly, you could potentially win the game. I mean, let's be real. But having the knowledge that a particular ship might be the only ship interrupting the capture is something I would like them to consider. Maybe a form of information gathering would allow you some level of information. They clearly have no idea how many destroyers are on our team, or where they are at, right? That's pretty terrifying for the enemy team. That's why they're not pushing forward. If they knew, maybe they would go after certain targets and take them out for their team, but they just don't. I'm headed over to the western, or I guess the eastern side of the map, Notser. Yes, it's east. We're going over to eastern, and of course, the Große Kuh first is taken out. So I didn't even have time. And we got a couple enemies trying their best, but it's a losing battle. Once your destroyers are out of the match, you really have no other alternative on a game mode like this. This is active objective play, and there's only one way to actively play objectives. It's to use scouting information to your advantage or disadvantage. That's really the only way you can play. So I don't see what their solution was. This is just shrinking the circle down and forcing people to fight in an even smaller. There's just no way anyone would ever get these outer rings to capture. There just isn't. At least I've never seen it. And I just don't see how it is possible for a team to lose it now. Maybe it could be sections, like a pizza. So each section would encourage you to go into it. I think that would probably work out better than what we're seeing now. It would still focus people on one general area, and maybe you could still have a center circle of capturability. But these two outer rings, I'm not seeing a way that any team is going to capture them. I think everybody is just going to sit behind an island, invisible, or just keep it from being captured, right? Why would I want to let you capture the base? So yeah, I don't know about this one, Wargaming. I do like the interest in focusing the attack. I just don't understand what you hoped to accomplish. It doesn't really feel like anything has changed. Now, we have killed off, or the enemy has left, the center ring, the middle ring. We are in the process of capturing it. It looks like any damage that is sustained during the ring capture will, of course, slow it down. The enemy Iowa is taking damage from me. I don't want to pull a Notser. And he's already dead. He's already dead. So this is quite clearly, this is blatantly obvious to me, Wargaming, that the Destroyer class will dominate this. Absolutely dominate it. Ooh, taking a big shot. Holding my fire. Hoping to hide. We do hide. It's very, very, very obvious to me. The Destroyers are just... There's no way a team is going to win this game mode if any enemy Destroyers are still up. It's just too important. Do you see a solution to this puzzle that doesn't include stealth? I don't. And there's just not... It just doesn't fix the problem. The real problem, and I know the problem, the economy. The economy discourages engaging players. If the economy encouraged aggressive play, we would have fights that last 5 minutes. Now, maybe we need to go that extreme. Maybe we need people to want to kill people. So the games are fast-paced. Action. This is not going to fix the solution, Wargaming. I don't know why you thought this would do it. I don't know. It certainly is encouraging people to fight, but so would the other King of the Hill. This just hasn't done anything. I think if you really want to consider making a change, you should consider maybe sectioning off parts of the circle so it is feasible that you could capture a point. Maybe make sure that it isn't too easy to capture near your base, right? But section off points, and maybe there's still a center that gives you a bonus if you can take it, right? So it's sort of like what's that color game? Oh, what is it? What is it? It's red, yellow, green, blue. What is that game? You know how you have to match the color things, and there's a center section, or I think there is. Either way, you have a center focus with auxiliary for points, so you're not completely worthless, right? I just think I don't understand why there are rings around the center that connect to the other side of the map where I cannot impact the capture point. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't fix the solution. The whole problem is that people stay away from each other. Why would I ever get close when I could hide behind an island? Or what have you, right? I don't understand this particular solution. What does this particular solution actually do? Am I wrong? I would love it if you could tell me. Oh, no, Notser, this is exactly what you do. Because as far as I'm concerned, a significant part of the map is still going to be unrevealed where a potential ship could be stopping you from capturing. I just don't know. I just don't know. I just don't know. It's just a really weird change. It's a really weird change. I don't know how much time they spent making it. I don't know how much testing they did. I would just love to see all of the data that they gathered on this one. Hopefully, you can understand the basic objective. Destroyers, you go to the center, you annihilate the enemy destroyer, you take the center, and then you really do start a timer on the enemy. If they cannot respond, you've basically won the game, because they're just going to be too stressed out trying to maintain control of the base or get anything back because they're losing every second they don't have that capture point. My game, completely mediocre. Of course, battleships and destroyers really dominate. Battleships stay in the back, destroyers take out anything in front. Hopefully, though, you got to see it. Maybe when you see it for the first time, you'll know what to do, right? I hope that 5.11 treats you well. I hope you enjoy the armor, the pirate, and the new maps. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.